Jeremiah 34. So then God told Zedekiah, similar to what he said previously, and I guess he's just reiterating it again, that the king will be handed to King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. He will see him face to face, but then God said that he will die in peace, and people will mourn for him and burn spices for him. I don't know why. But then, and then Jeremiah spoke this to Zedekiah, and then, the king Zedekiah then decided to proclaim a release, tell everyone in Jerusalem to release their male and female servant. And there has to be something that we are missing here, because it seems like this was a reaction or a result of what Jeremiah said to Zedekiah. And right here, God wanted that to happen. And right here, he said that although you each proclaiming a release, so maybe God said something to that effect to Zedekiah. That's why he did that. However, then they released them. They made a covenant with God. It sounds like they did it in the temple before God, that saying like an oath, like, oh, I will release this person from being a bondservant, so on and so forth. But then they turned around and they took them back, and they made them bondservant again. So they did not hold to their end of the oath. And the oath, similar to a pastor I remember saying about this says it more in detail, that when they do the covenant, they actually cut the calf in two, and then put its part on either side, and they would actually walk through it. And I think the pastor that I was listening to was saying like that is a symbolism, saying like, if I break this covenant, may this happen to me also. And so they did that, and God then said that he actually told the Israelite that if he does not want a permanent state of slavery, and this is very clear at this here, he knows that it's a custom in the olden day, in the ancients, to have slaves, and that people will actually sell themselves if they can't pay. So pretty much selling their service to pay off their debt. However, God never wanted a forever state of slavery, because in his law, he said that whenever there's a Hebrew brother or sister to serve, they only serve for 6 years. And the 7th year is the year of Jubilee, where everything is restored, where all debt are just canceled. And you actually have to calculate it based on the number of years left to the year of Jubilee. However, he said that their forefather did not obey them, and they themselves now decided to not obey, because they would make an oath to free, and then they would take them back. So they broke their covenant. They broke their oath, which is even worse. So we can see the selfishness, the disobedience in the people's heart. Ever since the beginning, and this is worse at this time. So, because of what I talked about as the covenant, like it's like, oh, if I don't do this, then I will be killed, or I will be cut in half, like this animal that is a symbolism. Then God then say that because they broke the covenant, then the people will be given to famine, the sword, and one more thing I forgot. But they pretty much got the punishment that they deserve, and God then will make the cities of Judah a desolation without inhabitant. I wonder what kind of king Zedekiah was. I don't remember if he was a sinful or wicked king or a just king. I believe he's the former, the wicked king, because I'm not sure, because he was allowed to die in peace, and he was allowed to be sent to Babylon as a captive. And God says that captives are pretty much considered the good fruit. So I'm not sure. But yeah, so that was one thing that I wonder about, that I didn't remember from previous readings, or I didn't make a judgment about the king from readings up to now. So I don't know, but that would be one thing to study.